when old school metal hits the classroom. Mathematica. Skuchayuk. Emal. Not kill them all like Metallica were saying. What does this mean? Is it a rude word I just said? Calculate them all. And it's straight across the road from the Russian Orthodox Church, which is right on the edge of the large, very beautiful, picturesque old cemetery, which became a sculpture park in the 1970s. The communists who were in power here decided, being atheists I suppose, they could make better use of the land. Therefore, they chose to remove most of the headstones in the cemetery site. However, there were some enterprising locals who got wind of the plan, and they decided to go in under cover of darkness, at obviously some risk to themselves, given that these were the old communist times, and remove many of the most important, ornate headstones, the ones that they could move physically. To protect them, they hid them, and they can now be seen in the old Klaipeda History Museum. There are some that remain, however, by and large, they all got bulldozed. What's left is a large piece of land, wooded, leafy, beautifully cool in the summer, full of birds and birdsong, and also full of sculpture, believe it or not. I've not stopped directly next to some sculpture for you to admire. Unfortunately, even though this is one of my most favourite places to come and relax, there's ongoing works. All around the perimeter is this 2-metre tall fencing, except here, for some reason it isn't, but also I'm fully aware that I'm not supposed to just climb over the fence and help myself to walking around the park on my own. That would be breaking the rules. I'm not going to upset local people by doing that. Apparently this fencing's been up for a year now. They've been renovating the pathways, other things as well. Perhaps they've been tidying up those headstones which do remain, maybe sprucing up the sculptures. I got no idea because I can't get in and nobody else can either. However, I would strongly recommend when you come to Klaipeda, because come to Klaipeda you surely will, at some point in your travels. This is lovely. It's right on the doorstep of the hostel. It's so close. Such a lovely, comfortable hostel. Wonderful people run it, and so much right on the doorstep here. This looks interesting, something new I haven't seen before. Memel Auto Museum. What's all this about then, eh? Let's check it out. It's just here on Trilapio Gatva. It really is a surprise to me. I was going that way to see the Russian Orthodox Church, but I'm just sidetracked because what's all this about the Auto Museum? Lots of great historical information here in Lithuania. All rebuilt, as you can see. The mortar kind of gives it away. I'm hearing hammering going on inside. Looking at this, what I think is they've got to the point where they've ordered the sign for the outside of the building for the Memel or Klaipeda Auto Museum. They've put that up before the actual work's complete. Yeah, I can see a digger over there. That's another reason to come back to Klaipeda, for me anyway. If this is going to be an auto museum, you can see some lovely vintage cars and contraptions. Oh, Oh, this is good. I'm feeling a lot more positive. I was feeling pretty positive as it was. I was checking the bus prices last night online at autobusbility.lt. I'll put the proper name down below so you can actually connect to that website yourself to check the bus prices and times. The church is very modern and a little bit disappointing, if I'm being frank. Oh, this is already done as well. And there's just a little teaser glimpse of some of the sculpture which is in the park, which we can't see today. Modern Russian church is, yeah, a bit of a blight on the landscape. That's sad, because usually they're very attractive. Back to the tickets. Looking online, Klaipeda to Kaunas, I resolved it had to be the bus, and then just looking at what time suited me, what prices suited me, very importantly. Clearly the best price and the best time were in alignment, which is always a good sign, isn't it? So 10 past 11, checkout time is 11 at the hostel. 10 past 11, and it's always worthwhile absolutely triple checking how long that journey is going to take, which you can see on the website, because sometimes you can get on the wrong bus, as I did many years ago, and my God, we covered half of Lithuania getting between Kaunas and Klaipeda. Those were the early days when I was still learning some of these things. Yes, let's not think about that. I can remember how bad my back felt after probably something like a 5-hour journey, because the bus went all the way around Western Lithuania. Damn it, should have been something I could look at and say, oh, well, at least I got to see a tour of the place, but that isn't the way I felt with my sore back. Just going to have another sneak look at some of the sculpture, and also a sneak look to see what they're getting up to here. Oh, this is wide open. I mean, if you're a cheeky tourist, you could even claim, oh, well, it's wide open, I just walked in. But I'm not that much of a cheeky tourist, because obviously you're not supposed to be going in there, despite this being open just so they can get vehicles in. There's more up there. So that perfect time for the bus, perfect price. Well, I'd like it cheaper, because I always like the cheapest possible. Is it ever cheap enough when it comes to a bus ticket? But instead of paying the 23 euros or 26 euros for other time buses, I'm paying the 19 euros for the bus which suits me best. Yeah, that's a sort of like Japanese samurai sword arrangement on that sculpture, isn't it? Just under 3 hours on the bus. That means I will get to Kaunas at something like 2 o'clock. That's a decent time for arriving in a city. I'm not sure what the official check-in time would be for the next hostel I'm staying in, the Monk's Bunk, run by Viktoras, young Lithuanian guy. Very congenial, super host. He's been running the hostel for years now. I've been there several times in the past. Lovely atmospheric place, definitely for backpackers. If you're not a backpacker, don't go, because that doesn't mean, oh, it's backpackers only. But I would say, if you're going there thinking you're going to get 5-star hotel, everything, then don't. It's a chill, laid back, backpackers, bunk beds type of place. If you're that type of person and you don't need to have all the fine trappings of a 5-star hotel, then do go. Whether you're backpacking or if you're pulling a wheelie trolley or however you're travelling. But it's a nice, relaxed place. No wild drunken parties. It's cool. I'm feeling incredibly lucky to have got this far, actually. I guess this one little street or section of it is allowable. I haven't had anybody shouting at me. I mean, I've walked in because it looks as though this part was wide open. And there are a few other people who've walked in and around a bit as well. Does that mean we shouldn't really be here? Have we encroached when we shouldn't have encroached? I really don't know. But and there's a car there. Some of it is clear that you shouldn't be in the place, and some of it isn't so much. Now, can I get out if I walk straight ahead? What's going on? As it is, I'm not alone, as you can see. And I have, you know, my intention was not to come in here. And I'm not going all over the park. I really have just tried to stick to what I think I'm allowed to do. Rightly or wrongly. And what I'm showing you is, you know, I'm not straying off the path which was open for pedestrians on that side. Maybe that's the only way to get out, because I can see fencing directly ahead of me as well. But we're getting a little taster here, and I think I've just walked myself into a blind alley, to be honest. It can happen. As I say, I just walked in innocently, not knowing that I'm actually breaking the rules, because it really looked like it was a pathway which had been left open for people on foot. And now I realise perhaps I shouldn't have walked this way, and I should have just accepted go nowhere near, but I couldn't help it. I was lured in. You see how I'm backpedaling like crazy, and my voice is going all trembly, as are my knees. I don't want to end up for a night in the Lithuanian prison. Oh dear. Where did it all go wrong, eh? Walkie-talkie trash talker. Walkie-talkie troublemaker. Rule breaker. No, that isn't what I'm about at all. I'm innocent, my lad. I just took the wrong turn in life and ended up walking through the sculpture part by mistake, but now I'm going to leave. I'll fall back on the old, I'm an imbecile, can't you tell? Yes, that usually gets me out of trouble, because it's so believable. Is it great acting, though? Is it? Ask yourself, haven't you? There's so much more to see here, so don't think, oh yeah, just saw a bit of rubbish, wasn't really interesting, another headless nude body with no arms, Venus decapitated. No, there's so much more to see here when it's all fixed up, and yes, and you're allowed to come in again. And even if you're not interested in the sculpture, it is highly recommended as a beautiful place in summer when you want to get away and read a book, have your head cleared, get your thoughts straight. It's a super spot. Just such a shame I can't give you a proper full tour, but maybe next time, if I'm still doing all this monkey business. So we've got the Auto Museum and the Sculpture Park to come back to in the future. We've only got a few hundred metres away from the hostel. There's a lot right there, which you can do easily. So if you're feeling tired when you come to Klaipeda, or after you've done the cycling halfway across Europe, or just up and down the Coronian Spit, and you've got a spare day in Klaipeda, this is the #1 place you should come, in my opinion. Just a slow, relaxing, easy walk. Get the lactic out of your legs. Perfect.